Good morning, fellow zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake? Because I sure as hell ain't. In the background, you'll probably catch my mama dog being a pain in the ass. What else? She's an old fart. And right now, we have Texas is going to be holding 5 extra seats because it is what the Trump wants, and it's what the Trump's going to get, just so he can maintain his power. And already the Republican Party is bitching and griping that the Democrats can't do this thing because they don't like Donald Trump. I had one asshole of an assemblyman, or actually a state senator, Republican asshole, stating that while he was on the air. And actually, it was a soundbite, I think. Well, gee, I hope he wasn't insulted too much. I mean, Donald Trump seems to be quite beside himself if he can't get a majority vote one way or another. What was it in the first term that he was going, and he was trying to fight for his second term the first time? He wanted people to cheat in the state. They wanted to get about 11,000 some odd votes so Donald Trump could win with a majority, and he lost. And he's been finding a way to cheat ever since. Well, through Texas, he's doing it. Greg Abbott's going to sign the bill tonight, and they'll get the 5 congressional seats. If California can do it the right way in the state here without going what Texas did, completely cheating on the voters, hijacking, kidnapping, and imprisoning Democrats. It did that. One person trapped in the floor, able to eat snacks, to keep up her energy, using the chairs for bed, barely able to go to the bathroom without anybody catching her, and she did her transmissions through there, and she couldn't even do any transmissions on the floor because the Senate said, no, you can't do that. We have to keep you quiet. You're going to do your job. You're going to vote. You're either going to be voting no, you're going to be here. So she was the only one held captive. Made her a national sensation. I hope Abbott's going to chew on this in the next election. I think maybe in a couple more years he gets to have another election, and hopefully the people of Texas can vote his ass out. But by then, who's to say that the Republican Party is going to be absolute mundo? You understand what that means? Well, in layman's terms, one ring rules them all. Think of the party as the one ring. And who's wearing it? Trump. So Trump becomes the Lord of the Rings villain. Or already became that a long time ago. He became Sauron. And Saruman in Texas is Greg Abbott. So I hope he gets all the negative publicity he can, and I hope the momentum keeps going further. Because Texas, your reputation has been shot to hell by your decisions and your choices. You allowed this shit to happen, so therefore it's on your end. It's on your watch. And now, because we have an outgoing governor fighting for our political future at this point, who knows? He may be going for the next presidency of the United States. I hope so. If not, he can be VP. I don't care. He deserves it anyway. And yeah, there are things happen during the COVID that people we're still going to be bringing up, and because they don't like Gavin Newsom. I don't know. I kind of like the guy. I don't know. There's something likable about the guy. Yeah, he's a vintner. He has property, businessman. What else was new? Politician, you got to have a backup. You're trying to go for a primary, which is governing. But secondary, you still got a business running. At least out here in the state of California, they're not holding against it. But a lot of people saying, yes, we are. In the federal government, if you're running for POTUS, you cannot have any other outside interests except for servicing the country. You have to be serving the people, not yourselves. And unfortunately, we've got an administration currently in office at this date of 2025, August 21st, that we have self-interest and self-serving politicians who don't give a rat's ass about anybody else but serving themselves. Hegseth and his wife putting up portraits left and right in their workspace, not to mention in the Pentagon. I wonder how many soldiers, I wonder how many commanding officers are looking at it and wanting to throw up in the bathroom. But if they happen to look in the bathroom, they'll probably see Hegseth's portrait and wanting to throw up even worse. I would have put it past them for them having ginger candy or something to keep their stomach eased. Of course, the price of that's going to go up, as in all of our food and medicinals are going to be going up. Case in point, you've got Arizona, not the state, but the soft drink. For decades, they've made flavors. They kept a tall boy, 99 cents for a tall can of iced tea, flavored teas, in thin aluminum cans that's recycled. But because of the tariffs that the old gas bag had put people through, and still, material's kind of hard to come by. Prices are going to go up a little bit, but not much. They had an interview with the CEO. He doesn't want to raise the prices on anybody else. He wants to keep it at the same level. And he's maintaining fiscal responsibility here. He's trying to be financially responsible in everything he can. Keep the prices down. Profits may be down a little bit, but he wants to keep his company alive. So he's not going for the lavish stuff as other CEOs are doing. Target CEO took the parachute and got the hell out. Since Target was getting targeted left and right, concerning about Trump's DEI crap and wokeness crap, profits were going down. So he decided to take a parachute and get the hell out and got his millions. How's that handle? Can Walmart say the same? Or is Walmart going to stay there? I know Bezos is going to continue his operations. He's going to continue to kiss Trump's ass one way or another. He's got his empire to run. Besides, he's doing Blue Origin pop flies. Take a fucking rocket ship. Goes up there for a few seconds and then whee, parachute. And that's as close as rich people can get to space. Galactic Virgin. Whatever happened to Branson anyway? He's going to do this spectacular starbase thing. His space lane out in New Mexico somewhere. He's going to have his ship fly up, get into higher altitude than Blue Origin, float there for a bit, and then feather on in. Over a decade and a half, or almost 2 decades, they're talking about this. Longer than that, I guess. When they announced their spaceship. Came out of Mojave. People around here in the Antelope Valley were looking and going, ooh and oh. Yeah, I saw it. I saw the ooh and I saw the ah. Yeah, I was impressed. It was a civilian commercial. And they did test flight. And I was oohed and awed about it. I really was. And then Branson decides to take it over. Confiscates everything. Builds everything out in New Mexico. And everything else is gone. Nothing happened. Nothing for years. Musk, on the other hand, engineer, but no aeronautics, that's for damn sure. He gets his own commercial pop fly, but this time it's not for commercial. It's for space. It's working with the federal government and getting ships up there. Supply run for the International Space Station and crew member exchange. He's the only one that's got a lucrative contract because he's got a provable ship. And he's still blowing up his arrows, as I call them. Worthless as shit. You know, it took nearly a decade, about almost a decade, for Apollo program, despite its problems concerning about the Apollo 1 and what the hell happened. They were proven that in different corporations, they were able to get provable working ships back in the 60s, 1960s. And they had, what, 4 or 5 missions up there? 11, 12, 14, 15, 16. 5 missions. 13, they wanted to, but, something happened with the tanks. Bursted, lost their oxygen. They had to buddy breathe somewhat. And the lunar module, live in that thing. Living in an ice cube until they came back home. But everyone alive, everyone's safe. And it may have been considered a failure, but at least one thing they proved. They could survive. NASA lost 2 major space shuttles when they had the space transportation system running. Challenger and then Columbia. Challenger, they didn't think about the O-ring. They considered about the rubber and elemental effects that happened on the rubber that allowed a space shuttle and everything in it, including people, to go boom. Or improperly placed or secured tiles that allowed a zipper effect on a space shuttle as it was coming into Earth's atmosphere. They allow a gap in between those shuttle tiles, and then you had flaming debris across Arizona and the desert, New Mexico desert. So, for the commercial to keep testing out their ships to make sure that they're salvageable, and maybe wasting material, but at least they're trying. I gotta give Musk that much leeway. Boeing kept trying to do theirs, but, we haven't heard anything from Boeing. Have they given up on their spaceship? Have they given up on their capsule? Musk wants the International Space Station to crash and burn. He wants commercial stuff up there. Well, prove. Prove. When are you going to get your stuff up there? You want to put men on the moon. Actually, you want to put men on Mars. You have to have stepping stone first. He wants to do it one long shot. We'll see what happens. And we'll see if his ship blows up with people on board. NASA's still trying to get its own ship going up to the moon and back. We'll see what happens. I don't mind the money being spent for space conquest. I don't mind. Humanity's got to expand off this damn dirt ball anyway. What I can't stand is the human politics that stops it all the time. Yes, we have hungry people on the planet, but we've got too many people and less room to grow stuff on. We got a population explosion going on, and sometimes we may have a deflation in population. But we're still tearing apart our planet's ecosystem. Case in point, hurricane popping up in the Atlantic. Strongest one in the quickest time, within a day, from a Cat 1 to a Cat 5. And then kind of drifted back down to a Cat 2, to Cat 3, and almost struggling to a Cat 4. Not coming into direct contact, but indirect contact with the coastlines. That bad for almost short staffed and screwed up personnel changes concerning how Musk and Trump were screwing over the American people one way or another. I keep track of this stuff. I don't overreact like I'm seeing everybody else doing. Something said within the Trump government, they're saying or doing something like this, and we all have to jump on it. Social media jumping more and screaming and yelling. Did you see about this? Did you see about that? Do you know about this? And I'm listening to them. That's why I'm not putting out as much videos these days concerning about the politics, because it's normalizing. But the independents want more ire and fire. Well, when the woods are burned up, how else are you going to get heat from ashes? And this is what the government wants. It's what the government administration expects. Us turning ashes without any fire. Because if we actually had any fire, we still might be pulling up a chance of cheating in election results. Lying about it and blaming others. If that wasn't bad enough, pour out more troops. But you don't pour out the troops in the quote-unquote trouble areas of Washington, D.C. No, you put them out in the tourist area. Scare the bejeebers out of people left and right. And let's put some more ice raids out there, too. Tourists from overseas are being warned. Don't go to the United States. We got businesses clamoring, wanting, begging for the business. Our own government is making it less visitor friendly, more eviction friendly. I don't get the end game on this one except to sow fear, chaos, and confusion. And I keep blaming the American people because we did this shit. But we're existing on hubris and pride and arrogance. Not one asshole out there has put it out there on record where I could see a headline saying, "Yes, you're right." And then have the little tag says, "Then what?" I could say, "You tell me." You're protesting like crazy on the ice, guys. You wanted these guys to unmask, and they're not going to do that because They're too damn afraid, too damn sick to their stomachs, and too damn ashamed of what they're doing. But they want to be the bully boys because they want something out of the federal government. Either a paycheck or their egos boosted. I hope they realize that what they're doing right now is not giving them any points anywhere. Of course, I can say ugly things about them. They're really good. But for right now, we're not done with this insanity yet. Not by a long shot.